guys, okay, so I'm just coming in to kind of talk with you, check in with you, to tell you what's been going on. So I believe last week I was like on a roll, or a week before last I should say, I was on a roll with all of the videos that I was making. I was making a video like every day a week, once a day, or at least every other day. I did the whole series, and then I told you guys that I wanted to do it again. I got sick, like super sick, and it got worse before it got better. When people would say that when I got sick, I'm just like, what? Usually when I'm sick, it's just I'm sick and then I get better. No. So the last video that I made, it was supposed to be a wash and go video. So the next day, or that same day, I went outside and came back. Everything was fine. I was just going to film the intro, whatever, the next day of me styling and wash and go and all that other jazz. But that next day I woke up and my eye was completely irritated. You guys probably don't know this, but I do wear contacts. Like, I'm blind, not totally blind, but I'm blind. So something that's just like within arm's reach, if I don't have my contacts on, I can't see or tell what it is. So yeah, so I took my contacts out, but my eye was still irritated. It was red. I had like all of this like stuff that would be in my eye, like green and yellow stuff. So something that you shouldn't do, and they tell you all the time that you shouldn't do. I googled what it was, and it came back and it said pink eye. So I'm like, this kind of makes sense. And then it was saying that it could have been attributed to something that I caught outside, or me being in contact with someone, contacts, which I do wear, allergies, and or asthma. And I believe last month I found out that I have seasonal asthma. So I was thinking of different things that could have caused this. So the next day I called my doctor and I scheduled an appointment for that same day I scheduled an appointment for the doctor's office and went in the next day. He told me I had a mild case of pink eye. So I was like, okay, I was running a bit of a fever and I was kind of sick. So I'm like, okay. A few days later, I was getting better. My eye was getting better. But then I got strep throat. And I'm just like, where did this come from? So I was Googling again, and that was kind of like, you can get strep throat if you have pink eye or whatever. So it got like the strep throat and the pink eye did not come together. I had the pink eye, and then I had like a cold and a fever with it. And then after the pink eye kind of settled down, it wasn't as severe or as bad, I got strep throat. So it was just like, man, if it wasn't one thing, it's another. And then I'm just like, oh my god, I have somewhere to go Tuesday. What's gonna happen? So I got antibiotics or whatever, and they worked like ASAP. So that was going on with that. Today I finally was able to sit down and actually just do something with myself, because until Tuesday I wasn't wearing any makeup, I wasn't getting dressed, I wasn't doing anything. I was just like, oh my god. Then, which brings me on to the next topic, which you'll probably see in the title somewhere, social media. So I'm not one to kind of talk about it or whatever, or to really address things, but I feel like recently I got a message in my inbox, like someone telling me like, oh, okay, so let's pause and rewind. Let me tell you a backstory. So I posted a picture of me from one of my videos that I did. I think it was the last video of my elf haul. So the young lady made a comment under the picture or whatever, and I made a response back to her. So we exchanged words and I blocked her. So after that, someone told me like, oh, she's on her page and she has a whole picture of you, and like she's just talking about you for whatever reason. And I'm just like, I thought we had squashed it, like it was the end of it. So I reposted it on my page or whatever, and people were like, there were a lot of people that were like, oh my god, no, you shouldn't, like, she shouldn't be saying this, going in on her, like literally. And then there were like a whole bunch of people telling me like, all of these people that are standing behind you don't mean you any well, you're better than this, you shouldn't respond back to this, Beyonce doesn't respond back to that. Let's pause right there. I am not Beyonce. So continue. And telling me like, oh, I'm wrong, like sending me personal messages on Instagram telling me like I was so wrong for this, I'm better than that, and which I was. But at that point it was just like, what a lot of you guys do not see behind the scenes on YouTube and on Instagram is the fact that a lot of people delete a lot of things to minimize negativity on their page. Now, some people might say you shouldn't do that. You should keep everything because, like, that's what comes with it or whatever. But my whole thing is, I didn't make a YouTube channel to become a celebrity. I did it because I got a lot of people asking me to show them how I do certain things. I didn't make an Instagram to get a lot of followers. My Instagram started off with just a regular Instagram, me posting my pictures, me doing my natural hair journey, and people began to repost it. So it was just like, I did not come into this asking to be an internet celebrity or whatever. And then they're like, oh, your fans, your minions. I don't have fans. I don't have minions. I don't know you guys. You guys don't know me at all. Like, only thing you know is what you see on the screen, and that's not even half of my life. There are so many things, if I told you, you'd be like, what? Oh my god. Half of you guys don't even know how old I am. So it's like, you can't tell me that I can't stick up for myself. And it's just like, how are you going to tell me that? It's like, I got to the point where it's like, enough is enough. I can't just continue to allow someone to say something, and it's like, a lion doesn't lose sleep over the opinion of a sheep. Yeah, because the lion ate his ass. Like, ate him up, spit him out, chewed him, everything. The lion has devoured the sheep. So it's like, you can't give me quotes like that, because I'm going to have a rebuttal, and I'm going to tell you, like, it, like, you don't see how many times I ignore, and how many times, like, even with that girl, I had said something, it was the end of it, she kept coming back, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, block, delete. You still want to keep doing it. So it's like, you're putting salt on a wound. So you want me, you're provoking me. And it's like, yeah, you shouldn't allow people to get you to that point. But it's like, out of all the people that I do, it's like, I hardly ever allow anyone to take me to that point. But when I do, best believe I'm coming for you, and I'm not going to stop until I feel like I should stop. And ultimately, the girl deleted her page, and I can't say that that's my fault or anything, because then she started telling me like I was going to get it back on me, I was a bad person, karma, and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, but you came at me. You came at me. Even with all the people on here, my YouTube channel is pretty much good for the most part, but that's as of right now. And the little few like crazy comments that I do get, I don't even let them see the light of day. I automatically report them, delete them, and yeah, just because I don't want to keep that. But I, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I may have like a 20% negativity that comes my way. And I'm not a negative person, which is why it's like, if you see there's always going to be that one person that wants to spoil the bunch. And it's like, why? And then for you to tell people that they shouldn't stick up for me or help me is wrong, because I feel like if that was one of you guys and I was following you and I didn't know you, I would probably do the same thing. There are so many people I've seen them, like, people bash them so bad and they're reposting it, they're saying how they feel, and I've added my input. You stick up for yourself. I don't know what anyone has ever told you, but you stick up for yourself. You don't allow anyone to just say or demean your character or say something bad and do something to you, and you know you've done nothing to them, and just continue to go about your day. That's how people go crazy. Like, there are so many people, like, when bullies do things, and no, I'm not being bullied per se, but when people do things and you don't say something back, that's how, like, built up anger and just like people get to that point where it's like, they just go crazy, because it's like they've held it in so long and just been the bigger person so long that it's like, I can't take it anymore. And I'm not going to do that to myself. I'm not going to drive myself crazy, especially if I want to continue to grow. I'm not going to drive, because if they see that you allow that one person to do it, then so many other people are going to get it and going to begin to think like, man, she's not going to say anything, so I'm going to say whatever I want. And no, I'm not saying to reply back to everyone, because everyone does not even need a comment back. Half of the time, other people reply back before I need to, and it's like, damn, she already gave you the business, so I don't even have anything to say to you. So I just feel like I needed to say that because there are a lot of people that were kind of questioning who I was, and then there were some people like, oh my god, you just seem so nice and quiet, and I'm like, that's the problem. I am, but it's like I do have a bit of feistiness and a bit, if you ever met my mother, I have a lot of her in me, but it takes a lot for me to get that out of me. And it's like, you can't get mad at someone for sticking up for themselves, and I have no problem with it. But I see if it was something that was ongoing, that I was constantly replying back to people or saying something negative to people or just entertaining negativity, then I can kind of see for someone to say that. But for those who follow me on Instagram, you can count on your hand and probably have 8 left over how many times I've actually replied back and stuck up for myself. 9 times out of 10, I'm just like, ugh, whatever. I really don't care.